Well, Daryl, you mentioned earlier that you've been, involved in the community for a long time. And you're from this area. So one, must ask, as a Trenton resident and an activist,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on the community leaders?
Week. Um, you know, I've been around here in the city for the past, I guess activist for the past 25 years. I'm now 44, growing up, and it's been the weakest I've ever seen. No new ideas, no fresh ideas. And like I've been talking about in the city, you have these political parties, then you have the community leaders, the so-called the religious leaders and the other community activists that you might see on Facebook, you may have a rally, and all they have to offer is sports and having a good time, dancing, cookouts. And the people have to question these type of people. Are these really our leaders? How many churches we have in the city of Trenton? And why can't they, lots of churches.
Yeah.
Why can't they come out? We have Darius Daniels, we have Reverend Harris, we have Reverend Armstrong. We have a abundance of great pastors as you listen to the churches. Church people, they could preach a word like no other. But, why is it still more violence and crime on our streets? Why they have to play a role. And then you look at the other individuals, our community activists, Freedom Green, you know what I mean? And you have, the other ones, NAACP president, then you have, other ones, they're all about having a good time.
And in the past, you've also mentioned a phrase, you coined a phrase, Facebook activists.
Yeah, Facebook activists. They all on Facebook, and I've heard and they're just laughing and making great quotes, and people are saying, oh yeah, you're right about that. But that's not exactly putting the effort in the community. I challenge these guys and females to focus on what's really needed in our communities is a great education. Real social programs, like we're talking about having Dr. Bernard Lafayette that can come in and talk about nonviolence education. Why there's always a march? And marches are good. But if you don't have anything to bring to the people, that's a problem. We've been doing this for the past, 20 years in the city of Trenton? You're not helping, you're part of the failure of the city. You're not helping at all. And so, one of the things, like I said, they always want to have a dance. They always want to have a basketball game, a tournament. One of the things that disappointed me is that they had the African Pride Fest.
Right.
At Calvert Park.
Right.
All right. Now, this is the event, is just the second one. And this is the priority of these groups that are having this African Pride Fest. They had something at the event down East State Street where they had the bullying program. And the young lady, I can't think of her name, she developed something, she wanted people to come talk about the bullying problem that we have in our schools. Then they had all the 80s or the 70s party. Then they had the party outside at Calvert Park. They had all these things at this one community center. And when it came down to that night of the bullying program, they only had 5 people. I was there. I was one of them. 5 people show up. Okay? So if these people and the ones who are behind this program, the African Pride Fest, if they were so willing to do all these different things, and they come out to these events, and they have all these things, but they only bring 5 individuals. I know the lady she was hurt. I looked into her eyes. But we come out in the city of Trenton to 70s, 80s night. We have a big event here where all you did was dance and sing. we had about, I don't know, maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people show up. You didn't want to talk about nothing about education. You didn't want to talk nothing about jobs. You don't want to talk about nothing about health care. You know, and what was told for me for Freedom Green is that we don't need to talk about that. They ain't ready for that. This is how they think the leadership, community activists believe.
Now, you know, the flip side of that, I mean, some people might say that there's a place for a celebration and, you know, having a good time. What's wrong with that?
When you celebrate all the time, when we have had a conference on education, a conference on jobs, a conference on healthcare, a conference on violence, a conference on 21st century type education? When are we going to have these type things? You know, everybody wants to do a party. Everybody wants to do what? Have a basketball game. You know, and these are the young people, these are the younger generation, younger than me, who are doing these different things. And they can criticize me all they want, but the idea is, listen, you know, you're the next ones coming up. And all you know, your education, your political skills, your savviness, and all you can come up with is a party, a dance, and a basketball game? Something's wrong with that picture. I mean, we have a serious problem with black leadership. Problem with black leadership in our city. And even also the churches. You know, we have like 5 or 6 Daniels. We got the Jenkins brothers. We got Armstrong. We got Galilee, Reverend Harris. You know, we have a abundance of great preachers in the name of Jesus. But when it comes out, you know, when it comes out to having, bringing the church outside every day, sacrificing. See, that's the thing about sacrificing. Sacrificing your time, your commitment to your bowling game, your basketball game, your partying at Friday, Saturday nights, having a shake in your butts, having a good time. Oh, you're not sacrificing.
So they should be putting just as much energy
into cleaning up their community.
Right.
You know, and they got all the members of the church, and they got all their Facebook friends, and they can come out and cry about, the crime and the violence. But when it comes to making a sacrifice to really doing something, they're not. And it bothers me. You know, and it should bother the people that be listening to this. Young kids are dying in the city of Trenton. Young kids are dropping out in the city of Trenton, going to jail in the city of Trenton. Why we haven't put a movement together in the city of Trenton to challenge this prison industrial complex in the city and the county. In the state, you know, even with the Rowan Towers. People came out for the Rowan Towers because they said the girl got raped. And it was a lie. It was a lie. The people was led by a lie. They had Russell Simmons here. Everybody came out, had a good time celebration. But you celebrated, you came out and had a good time for a lie. I mean, and this is how we think as a people in the city of Trenton. And it's terrible. And it's not just Trenton, it's Camden, the same thing. Newark is the same thing. I mean, it's terrible of leadership. We got these young, so-called African-American Democrats that are supposed to be, they look good in suits. I didn't want to put a suit on, but, people said, put a jacket and tie on,
Right.
But you got guys dressed in nice suits, man. They came from great families. But what have they ever really produced and talked about? You're not, and the people, they're not challenging these community leaders. They're not challenging these politicians. They're not challenging the preachers. Politicians, West Trenton, Zachary Chester. Ask him, what do you think about jobs? Ask Zachary Chester. Call Menendez, email Menendez, write him a letter. How can we fix jobs in this country, Menendez? How can we deal with the immigration problem? Ask Zachary Chester. Ask some of the council, city council, the freeholders. Ask these questions and see what kind of answer they give you. So there's a serious problem that's taking place. And, if we don't change the leadership in our city, from religious, political, to community leadership, it's never going to stop. And that's what I love about the Tea Party. I got to mention the Tea Party. Dick Lugar wanted to stay in Washington. You know, the Tea Party said, okay, you got to go. So they left. They got rid of him. The Tea Party's been getting rid of politicians that said they're for the people and for the Constitution. But we are getting rid of them. We're fighting. We're challenging. We're taking over. So, you know, take a lesson from the Tea Party. We have to take a lesson from the Tea Party. My friends that will fight for me and I will fight for them because they have shown me loyalty. Their loyalty has been to me and my loyalty is to them. You know, it's been foolishness the way I see the things that are happening on with the city, with Tony Mack, with the city council, with the politicians. And they're all a part of the same family. Listen, they're all a part of the same family. First and second cousins. They're all political family together. So if Tony had an issue, he learned it from Doug. And Doug was all a part of the Watsons. And then you got the rest of them who are part of sitting on city council. People like Zachary Chester's part of the Watsons. You know, his wife, you know. I mean, it's all of them apart. Even the community leaders, Duncan Harris, all of them. I mean, they all part of the family. You know, it's terrible. So these are the ones you like and dress up in nice suits and look good and, you know, they're all nice and fuzzy-duzzy. But ask them about education. Ask people on city council about jobs, education. How are we going to fix education? Well, take it up to the school board. That's what they will tell you. You know, ask Menendez. Send Menendez a letter, an email, and task him. We have a serious problem on immigration, on education, on jobs. What exactly have you done to help bring jobs, fix the education? Nothing. Fix immigration. He will tell you nothing. We got the Dream Act. You know, so, and they're all a part of a democratic political system that is failure, complete failure. We're $15 trillion in debt. Who's going to pay for that? You talk about that. Who's going to pay for that? Our children. But hey, keep on Facebook, keep on YouTube, keep on doing the nice, sweet things and texting each other and having fun and partying while the world is changing and we're $15 trillion of debt. We're maybe going into another war. Who's behind the scenes? What's going on in Libya? All these different things are happening around the world. And we're partying and playing basketball, having a good time, while others are plotting against our families and our children. You know?
It's time for change.
It's time for a change. And the people are willing to change. They'll hear this and say, oh, what the heck? You know, I don't know. But we need to take a look at ourselves and how we think of our leadership and the ones that are speaking out against the leadership. You know, one of my political heroes was Ronald Reagan. He talked about morning in America. There's a brighter day. There is a brighter day. But all we have to do is understand our history as a people, as a government, as American citizens. You know, we can prosper. But if we don't understand the history of our country, then we're going to go down in flames. And that's what it's all about. Taking care of our families, taking care of our brothers and sisters, taking care of Americans first. And I believe that. And, you know, if we don't take care of our families and our children and take care of our society, you know, we're going to fail, Anwar. And people need to know that. Americans must come first, but we need to fix our educational system. We need to bring jobs. We need to deal with this immigration system problem that we have. You know, education and jobs is the most important thing in America right now for us. Jobs and education. You know, because if we don't have the great education, then we're going to fail.
And how can people reach you if they want to get involved with your campaign?
You can go to brooksus2012.blogspot.com. I'd like to thank Lou Jasikoff for that, and some other ones who worked on the website, who did a lot of writing for me, and also yourself and others. You know, there's individuals, man, that played a major part. It's just not me. It's other ones from around the state.
All right. Thank you, Daryl.